Here we have our Prezi presentation on what anger is and how anger is defined. Anger is one of many different basic emotions that humans and potentially some non-human animals are capable of experiencing. So no, I'm not going to anthropomorphize this. I'm not going to try and ascribe human traits on animals. I will say that I think it's very likely, and research studies have shown, that animals are capable of experiencing something like emotions. So they may not be consciously aware of them, but they are aware of different states of being. So they do experience different states of being. They experience anxiety, like bees when their hive is shaken. They experience anxiety, and this alerts them to the fact that they need to attack and defend their hive, their colony, from the bear that's trying to get the honey, or whatever is going on. There's some kind of an alert going on. They're experiencing an emotion that's signaling them to do something. So anger can cause distress, and it creates a strong desire to reconcile the situation. And anger motivates people to do something about a situation. And anger can be destructive if it's used improperly. Anger can be managed well, or it can be mismanaged. Managing anger well involves asking yourself questions when you notice yourself becoming irritated, frustrated, or angry. And those questions are, we've talked about them many times. What is the problem? How can I solve the problem? Should I really be this angry? Why am I angry? How can I manage my anger well right now? How can I remain calm? How can I get to a calm state of being? Taking those deep breaths, taking time away from the situation, and then not focusing on the situation, not repeating to yourself over and over again what happened, but trying to focus on how to solve the problem. Then again, avoiding your initial impulse to react to the situation. So recognizing that, yes, there's a problem that needs to be dealt with, I'm getting angry about it or frustrated. What do I need to do in order to solve this? But I'm not going to try and solve it right now because I'm not going to be able to handle it well right now because this emotion, the anger or frustration or whatever it is still being experienced. So I need to take time to really think this through. And then reinterpreting information. Now, what this means is that, let's say somebody walks into your office or somebody comes up to you, maybe not in an office, maybe at home, maybe at work somewhere, and they just start insulting you and swearing at you and just going off on you about every mistake you made and how lame and everything else. Now, you can interpret this in a few ways. And one way that we learn in the book is through humor and kind of thinking about how strange of an experience this is, or why would somebody just come in and start yelling when that doesn't do any good? How silly. And you can or you can reinterpret it in terms of their perspective. Okay, this person is having problems and they don't know how to deal with them. Or, oh, I wonder, they must be having something bad must have happened to them today and they're trying to let off steam. There's a multitude of different ways to try and reinterpret the information that's coming into you rather than reacting in kind with anger. So instead of reacting to anger with anger, it's better to just reinterpret their anger, reinterpret the information that they're giving to you. That way you can remain calm and in control of the situation. Then, of course, being patient. So being patient is another great way to just kind of in general just making sure that nothing's done too hastily, nothing needs to be done right now, that you're able to wait, assess the situation, and then frame the problem and begin to figure out what the solution is. Mismanaging anger involves immediately reacting to the situation. So that is following the impulse to attend to the situation right now. Somebody bumps into the back of your car, to just get out and start yelling at them and scream at them. And this can often lead to various consequences, negative consequences. Of course, yelling and losing control of yourself. That is also mismanaging the anger, because you're no longer controlling the anger is controlling you. And then submitting yourself to the emotion and allowing the emotion to rule you, whereas you ruling the emotion. Here we have some more negative consequences of mismanaged anger. So we have increased risk of traffic accidents. We saw those statistics in the other presentation. Of course, you can alienate your friends and family when you don't manage your anger well. You can have a loss of job or income as a result of mismanaged anger. Then, of course, there's the loss of social status that can occur with mismanaged anger, because people aren't taking you seriously when you're always, if you happen to find yourself flying off the handle, even once. Because reputation, all you have to do is something once, and then that reputation can be lost, and that trust can sort of dissipate a little bit. It can take a long time to get that back. Of course, there's different punishments, such as the adult timeout, which is jail. I think that might be a Seinfeld joke somewhere where he references jail as like an adult timeout. You sit in there and you think about what you did. And then, of course, there's the loss of time and energy dealing with angry outbursts. And I gotta tell you, I really butchered that joke. It just wasn't funny, because it's like, just made me think about somebody being in jail, and that's just sad. It's a negative consequence of anger. It was really kind of sad and not funny, so I don't really want to associate that sadness with Seinfeld, because Seinfeld's a really funny show. Anyways, I also have a loss of time and energy dealing with angry outbursts. And that is also a negative consequence, because all of that energy that you spend being angry or focusing on your negative problem, or focusing on the negative problem in a negative way, such as just repeating the information over and over again on why it made you mad and what happened or what they did or whatever it was that made you mad, that's a lot of loss of time that you could have been constructively solving the problem. And these issues would go away almost immediately if you just plan, okay, I'm going to do this at this point in time, and now I won't be as angry, because I'm putting the steps in place to solve the problem. And I know that whatever happens, this anger will pass, these things will resolve themselves. This anger will pass. That is a given, because nobody's going to indefinitely stay angry. Anger will pass. So how do people get angry? What is the scientific basis for how people get angry? And there's going to be a video I'm going to have you watch. That's going to be how exactly we experience emotions, the scientific basis for emotions. And that'll be an important video to watch, because as you understand how these things happen, you'll be able to better manage it. Also, people get angry because the organism tries to achieve homeostasis by correcting the perceived imbalance. So this emotion, again, it's a signal that something is wrong, and there's going to try and be a correction. And the situation can be dealt with constructively. Solving the problem is focused on, rather than blaming or putting others down. In conclusion, the path controlling your anger requires an understanding of anger. And that is the point of this presentation, is to really understand what anger is, how it's defined, how it comes to be, how anger is created within your own person. How does this emotion begin to exist? Learn to manage your anger so that it doesn't manage you, and help others help themselves by sharing this class with them. There's a few different ways to do that. You can just send them a link. You can put it on Facebook and share your thoughts about why this class has been helpful so far and what you've been learning so far. And if you know someone that struggles with anger and it's negatively affecting you, and you think that they would benefit from this class, you can bring it up to them in a way that's kind of subtle and helpful, such as, I was wondering if you wanted my advice on how to be happier. And if they say yes, you can send them the link or just share the class with them, or maybe take the class with them. Say, I'd both like us to figure out how to get better at this because I know I struggle with it too, even if you think you don't. So those are different ways to help others help themselves. Now that you know what anger is and how it's defined, you'll be able to better manage your anger.